Ever tried wood pulp in your pasta? How about a lentil latte or a chloroform cocktail? These sneaky food swaps might surprise you, but the joke's on you. If you've ever picked up honey from a dollar store, you might have been surprised by the low price compared to what you'd pay at places like Whole Foods. However, a closer look at the label reveals why. What you're buying is likely a blend syrup, cleverly marketed in a bear-shaped plastic bottle. Blend syrup doesn't even list honey as the main ingredient. Instead, corn syrup takes the top spot, with honey coming second. Some labels may be honest about this, but other products labeled as 100% honey can be just as misleading, containing little or no honey at all. According to Insider, honey ranks as the third most commonly adulterated food worldwide. In 2013, Wired UK highlighted that much of the honey sold in the US is often mixed with cheaper syrups like corn or rice, or even flavored with unrefined sugar. Unfortunately, counterfeit honey is still widely available in both the US and Canada. Determining whether food is truly organic or non-GMO is challenging, as labels don't always tell the whole story. Many people associate organic with pesticide-free, but organic farming allows the use of natural pesticides, such as pyrethrins from chrysanthemums. While these are considered safer than synthetic alternatives, the CDC warns that high exposure can still cause harmful effects, including dizziness, convulsions, and blacking out, proving that natural doesn't always mean entirely safe.
Are you on drugs?
Organic crops can still end up with synthetic pesticide residue due to contamination from neighboring farms, making it hard to determine whether a crop was truly organic. Unfortunately, organic foods are not regularly tested for such residues, creating an opportunity for fraud. Despite most organic farmers adhering to guidelines, high-demand organic products are often targeted by scammers. In 2019, a Missouri farmer was caught selling over $142 million worth of grain as organic, despite it being mostly conventional. After admitting to the scheme, he pleaded guilty to wire fraud and was convicted. You've likely wondered about the authenticity of canned Parmesan cheese that doesn't require refrigeration. In some cases, you'd be right to question it. In 2016, Bloomberg News revealed that Castle Cheese Inc. was cutting its so-called 100% real Parmesan with wood pulp. While goats can digest wood pulp, it's not exactly the cheese you'd expect on your pasta. So technically it's food, but it's definitely not what you signed up for.
That's just shocking. That's disgusting.
Castle Cheese's use of cellulose, a common anti-clumping agent, exceeded acceptable levels in its 100% Parmesan, which should contain only 2% to 4%. The company didn't just add it to prevent clumping, but to boost profits by increasing weight. Moreover, the product wasn't even Parmesan. Cheaper cheeses like white cheddar and mozzarella were used instead, deceiving customers with a false label. When you first purchase saffron, you might be shocked at how little comes in that small $20 jar, making you wonder if you need a magnifying glass to spot the threads. Saffron is the most expensive spice globally, with prices reaching around $1,500 per pound for even the lower-end varieties. But no matter the price, you expect to get genuine saffron, not something like dyed corn silk passed off as the real deal. So ensure you're getting what you pay for.
We have sort of a problem here.
Saffron's high price tag reflects the labor-intensive process of harvesting, with each flower yielding just 3 stigmas that must be handpicked. It's no surprise then that this valuable spice is often adulterated. Genuine saffron is sometimes mixed with corn silk, coconut filaments, or dyed threads, and occasionally it's entirely absent. In 2010, Spain reported exporting 190,000 kilograms of saffron, yet local farmers claimed only 1,500 kilograms were harvested. That doesn't quite add up, does it? Something seems off with that figure. For many of us, a piece of white fish looks just like any other. We trust grocery store labels to tell us exactly what we're buying. However, seafood suppliers are aware of this and sometimes mislabel cheaper fish as pricier varieties. After all, once it's cooked and seasoned, even an experienced chef may struggle to identify it. According to the conservation group Oceana, about 21% of fish sold commercially is mislabeled. This means that when you pay top dollar for Chilean sea bass, you might actually be getting tilapia, which costs a fraction of the price. So, if you find yourself with the wrong fish, feel free to call it whatever you like. Most food adulteration reaching the US and other countries isn't directly harmful, though it's driven by economic motives. While some may claim it's necessary to stay afloat or driven by greed, the intention is rarely malicious. Instead, food fraud is often about maximizing profits, with little regard for consumer trust or the integrity of the product.
Don't do it, kid.
In some cases, adulterated products can be genuinely dangerous, with serious health risks involved. The motives may still be profit-driven, but the consequences are far more sinister, placing money above human safety. A stark example came in 2013 when the BBC alerted British consumers to the growing problem of counterfeit vodka. The government had seized twice as much fake vodka that year, some of which contained harmful substances like antifreeze, industrial alcohol, and even chloroform, the same chemical used in movies to knock someone out. Though the effects aren't instant, prolonged exposure to these substances can cause severe health issues like cancer, blindness, nerve damage, and even death. While these illicit vodkas are sold at a lower price, customers buying them for a bargain might not realize the long-term risks they are taking with their health. If you're unsure about identifying different types of meat, you might not realize you've eaten horse instead of beef. In 2012 and 2013, many in Britain unknowingly consumed burgers that were 29% horse meat. This went on for at least 10 months, and potentially as long as 5 years, as reported by The Guardian. The source of the scandal? Anglo-Irish beef processors, a major player in Europe's beef industry. Several of the UK's largest grocery chains, like Tesco and Aldi, were unknowingly selling horse meat-laced burgers made from meat sourced from up to 40 suppliers. To make matters worse, some of the horse meat was mixed with previously frozen beef, so rotten it had turned green. Not exactly the kind of burger you want to crave. Americans are passionate about coffee, but what if your favorite brew isn't truly 100% Arabica, or even just coffee? A 2020 study in Foods found that coffee often gets mixed with barley, nuts, legumes, and even vegetables. In some cases, coffee grounds are contaminated with husks or twigs. This issue could worsen as climate change shrinks suitable land for coffee production, with predictions of a 50% reduction in acreage by 2050. To ensure you're getting pure coffee, stick to whole beans, which are harder to adulterate than pre-ground varieties. However, it's still a challenge to guarantee your cup is truly 100% Arabica. So enjoy that pricey mocha frappuccino while you can. Soon, it might be more lentil than latte. Olive oil is known for its unique flavor and aroma, but when distinguishing between regular olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, EVOO, it becomes trickier. One issue that consumers may not notice is the possibility of dilution with cheaper oils, like canola oil. This is concerning not only because you're paying premium prices for an inferior product, but also because many choose olive oil for its heart-healthy properties. While much of the olive oil sold in the US is legitimate, incidents of fraudulent EVOO still occur. In 2017, Reuters uncovered a scheme involving the Italian mafia, who were labeling olive oil pulp, the byproduct of pressing olives, as extra virgin and shipping it to the US. Kobe beef is known for its exceptional marbling, making it tender, flavorful, and costly. At a restaurant, you might pay around $200 for just 4 ounces of this prized meat. As such, it's become a lucrative item for American eateries. However, some restaurants in the US have been less than precise with their labeling. In 2009, the Miami New Times revealed that some steaks marketed as Kobe in Miami weren't actually authentic. To earn the Kobe label, the cattle must be born and raised in Japan's Hyogo Prefecture, much like how true champagne can only come from the Champagne region in France.
$126 worth of beef. Y'all not worthy.
Some restaurants apparently overlook the strict labeling rules for Kobe beef, but this is no minor detail. True Kobe beef comes from a specific breed and must meet rigorous standards, with its supply carefully monitored for authenticity. So, if you're seeing discounted Kobe beef, chances are it's not the genuine article. Turmeric, derived from the root of a plant, is easier to harvest than saffron, but still provides that iconic yellow hue in dishes. However, this vibrant spice is often adulterated. Some manufacturers add artificial dyes like metanil yellow or Sudan red to enhance the color. Others mix turmeric with potentially harmful ingredients, such as cassava, known to be toxic when uncooked, or white ginger and wild turmeric varieties. In certain regions, turmeric has even been tainted with lead chromate, a yellow dye that can lead to lead poisoning. To avoid these risks, it might be safer to just use yellow food coloring instead of trusting turmeric's authenticity. When you buy free-range, pasture-raised, or grass-fed products, you're paying extra for animals that are supposed to be raised in humane conditions. But the reality is that there can be a gap between what consumers expect and what industrial producers define as humane. Often, it's not about breaking the rules, but rather that the regulations themselves don't always align with what we assume they should be. A notable example surfaced in 2019 when Nellie's free-range eggs, known for its product cartons featuring happy hens in lush pastures, was hit with a lawsuit. The complaint claimed that, in reality, the hens were confined to sheds with just over 1 square foot of space each. This disconnect between marketing and reality highlights the complexities of animal welfare standards and how they can sometimes fall short of consumer expectations.
It just seems so unsanitary.
Nellie's defended its practices by claiming the hens met legal free-range standards, which only require outdoor access for 6 hours a day. However, the court ruled against them, noting that while their eggs technically met the law's definition, their marketing implied a more expansive free-range environment than the legal requirements actually provided, misleading consumers.